Welcome, parents and guardians. This is Brian Davis, the technology coordinator at Southern Columbia Area School District. I want to check back in with you for a mid-year technology review of what's going on in the school district and some important notes for parents and guardians. We did a previous video similar to this back in the beginning of the school year. If you want to go back and check that out, just make sure you didn't miss anything. Right there is the link to the YouTube video. I encourage you to go back and check it out. But we're going to jump right into some of the important happenings of what's going on in educational technology at the mid-year point here in the school year. I want to start off with a few important reminders. Make sure that you're receiving your voicemail, text, and email reminders from our school messaging system. We've gone great lengths to make sure that we're trying to keep our parents updated with all the comings and goings of what's happening at school. If you think you're not receiving those reminders via voicemail, text, or email, please reach out to your school's office of your child, whether it's the elementary, the middle, or high, and make sure that they have the right information for you for your cell phone, for your email. Also, I encourage you to go and download the Thrillshare app from your smartphone store. This is another tool you can use to keep up to date with all that's going on in the school district. That'll be an app that will get automatic reminders when we post to our website, to our Facebook, and that way you can keep in touch immediately and have that app right on your phone. And again, I want to make sure that I also mention our Twitter as well. So webpage, Twitter, and Facebook, those updates will automatically be posted right to that Thrillshare app. And lastly, I want to talk about the Sapphire Parent Portal. That Sapphire Parent Portal is very, very important as well, as far as checking your students' grades, but also you can see important announcements on there as well. And if there are anything like there are fees that the student may owe, you can see what those fees are and get those taken care of immediately before the end of the school year, so there are no holds put on the students' grades. So again, very important. We can keep you updated, but make sure we have the right information. If you're not receiving that information, please contact the office and we'll get it to you. And go ahead and download that Thrillshare app. You'll really, really like it. The next thing I want to talk about is the weekly student online activity report email you should be receiving. We send this email automatically on every Sunday between 2 and 3 a.m. We're using the email address that's on the school's Sapphire system. So if that address needs to be updated, please let me know. As I mentioned there, if you're not receiving these emails, please contact me at my email address listed there. What this email does is provides a summary of your child's internet activity for the previous week on any school device. And whether they were using that school device at home or at school, you'll see a summary of what they were researching and actively looking at on the internet. Great talking point to ask your child what's going on in school and what they're doing. And it's another set of eyes that you can see to make sure that they're staying on task with everything they need to be doing. So again, if you're not receiving those emails, please reach out to me at my email address and we'll make sure you're getting those weekly emails. Wanted to talk about some reminders about the school issued laptops. Remember, they are supposed to be only used for school related activities. It's very important to know. School related activities. If this is not something the child thinks they should be using, if it's not assigned by a teacher, excuse me, they should not be using the school issued laptop. Also, the student assigned to the laptop is the only person who should be using the laptop. Sometimes we have siblings trying to use other siblings' school assigned laptops. That is a no. Make sure that the student assigned to that specific laptop is the only person using that laptop. Another reminder, we do content filter 24/7, off-site and on-site. And if that laptop needs repaired, for example, broken screen, we will fix it. But there is going to be a charge based on the student's lecture status. I want to do something a little bit different in this video for parents. I wanted to show some tools that are available that you can encourage your child to use to maybe help them with some things. If they're struggling in some areas, I'm going to show you some tools that are available to these students on their school-issued laptops. So I'm going to jump out of my PowerPoint for a couple minutes while I demo some of these tools. So the first tool we're going to look at is something called the Read Aloud feature in the Microsoft Edge browser. So again, I'm in the Microsoft Edge browser. I'm just on a Wikipedia page, and I'm going to show you this tool. So sometimes kids maybe struggle with reading some high-level stuff, or depending on the reading level or the grade level your child's at, this is a great tool that can help them read something and give them maybe a better comprehension if something is challenging them. So again, to get to this tool, you're going to be in a Microsoft Edge browser. You're going to jump to the three-dot menu, and you're going to come to something called Read Aloud. So again, three-dot menu up here in the top right-hand corner. Read Aloud about 3/4 of the way down the menu.
Mid-1980s, followed by Windows.
When I click that, as you saw, it automatically starts reading. So let's say I want to scroll down and go to another passage. I'm going to just block this passage in, push play.
As of 2015, Microsoft is market dominant in the IBM PC compatible.
And you can see that kind of highlights where it's reading. The other thing I wanted to point out, you can also come up here to voice options, and you can change all the voice options you want to. You notice there are lots and lots and lots of voice options right there. I'm just going to show you another one. I scroll all the way down here to Microsoft Anna, which is English United States. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to come back here and push play.
Compatible operating system market and the Office software suite market.
So you notice how that went down to a younger child's voice. But again, all kinds of voice options out there. Lots and lots and lots of voice options. So a great feature, and I'm just going to switch right now back to the regular, one of the regular ones. You can also slow or speed up how the person reads. But again, a great feature right in the Edge browser that you can have it read text to your student or help your student understand that text with this reading feature. So if I want to get out of that, all I'm going to do is come here and X out, and I'm back to the regular web page. Excuse me. The next thing I want to take a look at is the dictation tool in Microsoft Word. And I want to be very clear, I'm in the Microsoft Word Online, and this is the version of Word that your students can access by being in their school assigned email. So when you're in their school assigned email and you're on just a typical Word page, I'm going to be on the home menu. I'm not on the insert menu. I'm back on the home menu. Over the right hand side, there is a little microphone. When I hover over it, it says dictate. So let's say your child's maybe struggling with typing or keyboarding, or maybe they have an injury. This is a tool that can help them input information into a Microsoft Word document. So I'm just going to demo it for you. So I'm going to click on the dictate tool right here. Hello, this is a test of the Microsoft Word Online dictation tool. This is a very good tool for students to use if they're struggling with typing or have an injury. Stop dictation. So if you notice at the end of that sentence, I said stop dictation, and it turned off my dictation tool. So if you look at that, it basically did the whole sentence that I dictated to it and typed it right in there. Real nice and easy. Great tool if a student's struggling with keyboarding, if a student is injured, the dictation tool will, on the computer, will type what they're saying. So again, that was under the home menu. You're in Word Online, which is found within their school email address, and you click on the tool right here. Another key, when you're done dictating, you can say stop dictation, and that tool will end. So great tool to use for students. The next tool I'm going to jump out to is a tool called Immersive Reader. And I just have a simple passage here from one of my favorite books that I read in high school way back in time. It's a passage, a sentence from Animal Farm. So you can see all I did was I copied and pasted that passage. I found it on the internet. You can take any passage you want, and you can copy it. The student can copy this into Word Online to use the Immersive Reader tool. So when I'm looking for the Immersive Reader tool, it's going to be under the View menu, and I don't see it right here. So I'm going to click on these three dots, and I'm going to say Immersive Reader. With the Immersive Reader tool, the first thing we're going to do is it reads it to you. It's very similar to the read aloud function.
One night, all the animals at Mr. Jones' Manor farm assemble in a barn to hear old Major, a pig, describe a dream he had about a world where all animals live free from the tyranny of their human masters.
So there it can help a student understand who's maybe struggling with some of the words in there. There's also some voice setting features in here similar to read aloud. You can go male, female. You can increase the speed. I would suggest you want to stay at the default. But the power of this tool I want to take a look at are up here in these three menus. First thing I want to look at is text preference. So you can actually, if some people are struggling viewing and they have some vision issues, you can increase the size of the text. So right there I went to 64, and I can increase the size if they're having trouble seeing it. Right now you can see increased spacing is on, so the words are kind of pushed apart. So again, to understand them, to be able to read it. Also, the font can be changed if it's a little bit easier for the student. And the background color can be changed. If sometimes students have a harder time with that white background, you can adjust that background to maybe a color that they have a little bit easier time with. So that was under the first menu we talked about text preferencing. The next menu is where it even gets more powerful. So we can turn syllables on. So if you notice, now it's putting the dots between the syllables of the words. We can also make colors for certain words. For nouns, it's purple. We're going to turn that on. And now it shows all of the nouns as purple. Same thing with verbs. Same thing with adjectives. Same thing with adverbs. And we can also click on the show labels and it'll say what they are. So again, a very powerful tool if your student is struggling with understanding some of this stuff. If you want to, you can also change colors if you have color preferences in there you want to go to. For right now, I'm going to just keep nouns on. I'm going to turn these other ones off. And there's another feature I want to show you. I'm going to close that menu. So right now I have the syllables on and I have the nouns on. You notice when I hover over the word animals, I get the pointer. I can click animals and it shows me a picture of what that word means. Also, I can click here.
Animals.
It'll say the word for me. So if your student is struggling, they can use this dictionary of sorts to help them. I'm going to click on night, show you again. There's a picture of night to understand the word, and then I can
Night.
I can listen to the word. So a great, powerful feature that students that maybe are struggling a little bit can help them learn, or even if we have a younger student who wants to increase their reading ability, increase it. Now I'm going to jump over to the last menu, reading preferences. I'm going to click on that. And we can adjust line focus where it highlights just one line. Right here's the picture dictionary, which we already talked about. We can translate. Let's say that you are an ESL student or you have an ESL student. We can translate this to all these languages. For example, I'm going to look for Spanish. I'll scroll down here and I'm going to say Spanish Mexico. And I'm going to say the whole document. And now notice it now has translated this to Spanish. Let's push the play button to read it.
Una noche, todos los animales en Mr. Jones' Manor Farm.
And you also see it reads it in Spanish. So again, super powerful. And that was under the reading preferences, under translate. I'm just going to go back to English, to regular English. And as I scroll through here, you can see all of the different versions you have. The last thing I want to talk about, and this is very, very powerful and super exciting, it's something called Reading Coach. So again, I'm under the reading preference menu. I'm going to go to Reading Coach and I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to close this menu. Now notice this microphone, this play button has turned into a microphone. I'm going to now start reading this and I'm going to click here. Now, just for demo purposes, I'm going to mispronounce a lot of the words in this passage just to show what this reading coach does. So I'm going to click on this. It's going to give me a countdown. I'm going to click start reading. One night, all of the animals at Mr. Jones's Manor Farms assembled in a barn to hear old Major Pie describe a dream he had about a world where all animals live free from the terror of their human masters. So once I'm done reading that passage, I stop and look what it gives the student, a reading report. It tells me the accuracy. It tells me the time spent. It tells me the correct words per minute when it puts those equations together. And the most powerful thing it does is it gives me 5 words to practice. Now, is this going to be 100% accurate all the time for students? No. We've definitely, when we've tested this, we've seen a few inconsistencies. But again, it is super powerful in coaching these students to improve their reading. I'm going to click on practice words and watch this power. It gives me 5 words from that passage that
Practice makes progress. Select any word to keep growing your skills.
And notice how the coach has already jumped in there telling me to try a word. So I'm just going to pick dream.
When you're ready, press the microphone and read the word out loud.
So I can also hear the word first.
Dream.
I can see a picture of it to help me with it. And then I'm going to read the word. Dream.
Your effort is showing. Great reading.
So the coach actually works for you and takes you to the next word. Now, to save time, I'm just going to go back to the home. But again, that coach personalizes with the student to help them with the words they're struggling. So I'm just going to, again, go back to beginning. And we're going to close this. But that is really, really powerful for our students to help with their reading. Then to exit this, I'm just going to click this back button and I'm back to my regular passage. So just to wrap this up, these tools are powerful and very helpful in helping your students. If you have more questions or you have more things you'd like to learn about this, reach out to your student's teacher to see if they can help you with that. And if not, if you don't hear back, reach out to me. I'm more than helpful. I believe in these tools. They're really, really powerful. I think they can really help our students jump up and improve their reading levels. So I'm going to jump back to my PowerPoint. So we just talked about all those things, the Edge browser read aloud, the dictation tool, and Immersive Reader and Reading Coach. Great tools, and they're all available with your Students 365 login that they're given, and also on all the laptops that we hand out to our children. The last thing I wanted to talk about is social media. I wanted to reach out to the parents and guardians and let you know that we do block all of the major social media platforms on the school-issued devices 24/7. That being Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. They are blocked from access on the school-issued devices. And I want to be very, very clear, that is only school-issued devices. We all know that social media is a great tool, but can also be a tool that sometimes gets our children in trouble. I encourage you to talk to your children about it and know that it's what it should be used for, and maybe some of the bad things that we can fall into with social media. And I wanted to provide 2 great resources that can help parents talk about that and give them a little bit more information on social media just to check. But again, I encourage you, we're always trying to talk about the good and the bad of social media, and we always want to focus on the good, but be aware of the bad and not go down the path of the bad aspects of social media. So I want to give you a thank you for listening to this. Hopefully you learned some information. There's my contact information. You can always reach out to me. Specifically, if you have questions on those learning tools that I showed you today, whether it was the Edge browser read aloud, the dictation tool, or the Immersive Reader coach, or the Immersive Reader or the Reading Coach, let me know and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. They're really, really powerful. And if you ever have any other general technology questions, there's my contact. Thank you. I hope you and your children have a great rest of the school year, and thank you for listening to this.